A dog barks wildly at a pregnant woman in a busy airport. Then she collapses, spilling secrets that pull a security guard into a dangerous mystery he can't escape. On a gray March morning, Terminal C at Red Hollow International Airport in Ohio is alive with noise. People rush through the wide, shiny halls, dragging suitcases behind them. The loudspeaker crackles overhead, spitting out muffled announcements about flights and gates. Suitcase wheels screech against the polished floor, loud and sharp, like they're complaining. It's busy, but there's something heavy in the air, a quiet tension that hangs like fog. Thatcher Mullowen walks through the crowd, his boots tapping the tiles. He's been a security officer here for years, long enough to know every corner of the airport. His eyes are sharp, scanning faces, bags, anything that looks wrong. At his side is Bishop, his Belgian Malinois. The dog's nose twitches, sniffing the air like he's hunting something invisible. Bishop's ears are up, his brown and black fur sleek under the bright lights. He's Thatcher's partner, trained to spot trouble, drugs, weapons, danger. Together they've stopped problems before they start. But today feels different. The terminal buzzes louder than usual. Travelers push past, voices blending into a hum. A man yells about a delayed flight. A kid cries near the coffee shop. Thatcher grips Bishop's leash tighter, feeling the dog pull a little. Bishop's restless, his paws shifting on the floor. Thatcher frowns. He trusts Bishop more than anyone, more than the scanners, more than the rules. The dog's nose never lies. Something's off, but Thatcher can't see it yet. The air feels thick like a storm's coming. He keeps walking, eyes moving, waiting. Bishop's tail stiffens. Whatever's wrong, it's close. And in a place this big, trouble can hide anywhere. The crowd in Terminal C parts for a moment, and that's when she appears. Marlo Ashford steps into the wide, noisy hall. She's tall, with long blonde hair that falls past her shoulders. Her belly is big, round and heavy under a white blouse and a dark navy coat. She's in her final trimester, close to having her baby. In her hands she carries 2 paper bags, one in each arm, holding them like they're important. Big sunglasses cover her eyes, too dark for the bright lights inside. She moves slow and steady, her flat shoes quiet on the shiny floor. Everything about her looks calm, too calm for a busy airport full of rushing people. Thatcher Mullowen watches her from across the terminal. He's standing near a gate, his security badge clipped to his jacket. Bishop, his Belgian Malinois, stays close, sniffing the air. Marlo doesn't look like trouble. She's just a pregnant woman walking through the crowd. Thatcher's seen hundreds like her, tired moms-to-be heading somewhere. But something about her feels different. Maybe it's the way she holds herself, straight and careful, like she's hiding something. He shakes his head. He's imagining things. It's been a long shift. Then Bishop changes everything. The dog stops moving. His paws plant on the floor, his body stiff as a board. Thatcher feels the leash go tight in his hand. Bishop's ears twitch and a low growl rumbles from his throat. It's quiet at first, deep and steady like a warning. Then it gets louder. Suddenly Bishop barks, sharp, loud, desperate. The sound cuts through the terminal noise like a knife. People turn their heads, startled. A woman nearby jumps, clutching her bag. Thatcher pulls the leash hard, trying to hold Bishop back. "Easy boy," he mutters, his voice low. But Bishop doesn't stop. He barks again, his eyes locked on Marlo. Thatcher's confused. Bishop's trained, smart. He doesn't bark at nothing. He's never reacted to a pregnant woman before, not once in 7 years. Not at moms with strollers, not at anyone like Marlo. This isn't aggression. Bishop's not lunging or snapping. It's something else, panic, like he's trying to tell Thatcher something urgent. The dog's fur stands up along his back, his tail stiff. Thatcher looks at Marlo again. She's still walking, slow and steady, her face hidden behind those sunglasses. She doesn't flinch at the barking. Most people would jump, look around, something. But Marlo keeps going like she doesn't hear it. Thatcher's stomach twists. Bishop's nose is never wrong. If the dog's this worked up, there's a reason. He squints at Marlo, searching for a clue. The bags? Her coat? Her calm? Something's off and it's close, too close. He tightens his grip on the leash, his heart beating faster. Whatever Bishop senses, it's about to change everything. Thatcher Mullowen watches Marlo Ashford move through Terminal C, her slow steps steady despite Bishop's barking. The dog's sharp, desperate cries echo off the walls, making people stare. Thatcher's gut twists, something's wrong. He can't let her keep going without knowing why Bishop's acting this way. He takes a deep breath and steps forward, raising his voice over the noise. "Ma'am, I need you to stop for a moment," he calls out, firm but polite. His hand tightens on Bishop's leash, holding the dog steady. Marlo hears him. Her head turns just a little, sunglasses hiding her eyes. She pauses like she's thinking about it. Her hands shift on the paper bag she's carrying. For a second, Thatcher thinks she'll stop. But then she takes 2 more steps, slow, heavy, like her legs don't want to listen. Suddenly her body gives out. She collapses hard, hitting the polished floor with a loud thud that cuts through the terminal's hum. The sound bounces off the tiles, sharp and final. People gasp, stepping back. Her bags slip from her arms and split open, spilling everywhere. Papers flutter out, skidding across the floor. Small bottles roll away, clinking against each other. A sealed envelope slides out, landing near her hand. Big, bold letters spell sorry on it. A tiny stuffed bear tumbles free, its button eyes staring up blankly. Thatcher drops to his knees beside her in an instant, heart pounding. "Hey, stay with me," he says, checking her face. She's pale, eyes closed, breathing shallow. He grabs his radio with one hand. "This is Malouin, Terminal C. I need medical here now," he snaps, voice tight. Bishop's barking changes. The loud, sharp warnings turn into soft, panicked whines. The dog pulls closer, nudging Marlo's side with his nose, his ears low. Thatcher glances at him, then back at Marlo. That's when he sees it, her left hand clenched tight. Something metal glints between her fingers. He gently pries them open and freezes. It's a military dog tag, old and scratched. The name stamped on it hits him like a punch. Hollis Rare. Hollis. A name from years ago, a soldier Thatcher knew, fought beside, lost in a desert far away. A ghost from his past, buried with memories of sand and gunfire. Why does she have this? Thatcher's mind races. He looks at the envelope again, sorry in shaky writing. His fingers brush it, feeling its weight. Bishop whines louder, pawing the floor like he's begging Thatcher to understand. People crowd around, whispering, but Thatcher barely hears them. Hollis is dead, or he was supposed to be. Now Marlo's here, collapsed, clutching his tag. Whatever she's carrying, it's more than bags. It's a past Thatcher thought was gone, spilling out on the floor, and he's already too deep in it. The paramedics rush into Terminal C, their red bags banging against their legs. Thatcher steps back as they kneel beside Marlo Ashford, her body still on the cold floor. They work fast, checking her pulse, shining a light in her eyes. "She's stable," one says, voice calm but quick. "We're taking her to the clinic." They lift her onto a stretcher, her pregnant belly clear under the blanket they drape over her. Thatcher watches, his chest tight. Bishop whines, pulling toward her, but Thatcher holds the leash firm. The crowd thins out, people moving on, leaving the spilled bags behind. In the airport clinic, a small room with white walls and beeping machines, the paramedics settle Marlo on a bed. She's unconscious, her breathing slow but steady. A nurse hooks her to a monitor, the soft beep filling the quiet. Thatcher stands near the door, Bishop at his feet. The dog won't leave her side, his nose pressed close to the bed, whining softly. Thatcher's hand brushes his pocket where he slipped the envelope marked, sorry. That name, Hollis Rare, burns in his mind. Hollis was a soldier, a friend from years ago. They served together in Kandahar, a hot, dusty place full of danger. Hollis died there, or so Thatcher thought. The dog tag says different and it's got him rattled. He pulls the envelope out, fingers shaking a little. It's creased, stained, heavy with something more than paper. He shouldn't open it, not here, not yet, but he can't stop himself. Bishop's whining gets louder, like he knows what's coming. Thatcher tears it open carefully. Inside there's a single page, yellowed at the edges. The writing is messy, slanted like it was scratched out in a hurry. He reads the first line, "If you're reading this, I failed to keep my promise." His stomach drops. Hollis's words stare back at him, rough and real. "Protect her," it says at the bottom, underlined hard. Thatcher's throat tightens. Protect who? Marlo? He looks at her, lying still, her face pale under the clinic lights. Hollis never talked about a family, just a woman named Lena, once in passing. Was Marlo his daughter? Why didn't he say anything? Memories flash, Hollis laughing in the barracks, then quiet after a mission went bad. He disappeared that day, left for dead. Thatcher thought it was over. Now this letter, this tag, this woman, it's pulling him back. Bishop nudges Marlo's hand, his whine soft and sad. The dog knew something before Thatcher did. That barking wasn't random. Hollis's promise failed and now it's on him. He stuffs the letter back in his pocket, heart pounding. Whatever Marlo's tied to, it's big, and it's not over yet. Thatcher stands in the airport clinic, staring at Marlo on the bed when his mind drifts back. He's suddenly in Kandahar years ago, the air hot and thick with dust. Hollis Rare is there, tall and quiet, his uniform stained with sweat. They're on a covert mission, secret, off the books. Hollis was different that day, edgy, keeping something to himself. He'd mentioned a woman once, Lena, a translator who stayed in the shadows. Thatcher didn't ask questions. Soldiers don't pry. Later, Hollis came back from a patrol alone, carrying a satchel, his hands shaking. He handed it off to a man in a black jeep, no words, just a nod. That night, an explosion rocked the base. Hollis didn't come back. They said he was dead, killed in action, body lost. Thatcher believed it, buried the guilt, moved on. Or so he thought. The clinic's beeping pulls him back to now. Marlowe stirs on the bed, her eyes fluttering open. Bishop, still by her side, lifts his head, tail wagging once. She blinks, looks around, then locks eyes with Thatcher. Her voice is weak but clear. "Thatcher Malouin?" she asks like she knows him. He steps closer, surprised. "Yeah, that's me. How do you know my name?" Her lips tremble, but she sits up a little, hands resting on her big belly. "Hollis Rare," she says. "He was my father. He wrote about you." Thatcher's heart skips. Hollis, her father? He stares at her, the dog tag heavy in his memory. "Your father's dead," he says, testing her. She shakes her head. "That's what they wanted everyone to think. My mom, Lena, she hid the truth. He left letters. I found them after she died a few weeks ago." Her voice cracks, eyes wet. "People started following me, watching my apartment. I had to run. I came here to find you." "Lena?" Thatcher echoes. The name hits hard, the woman Hollis barely mentioned. "What did he say about me?" Marlowe swallows, steadying herself. "He said you were the only one he trusted. Said if something happened to him, you'd know what to do." Thatcher's chest tightens. Hollis trusted him? After all those years of silence? "What are you running from?" he asks. She looks down, hands shaking. "I don't know exactly. But the letters, they're about something he did, something he hid. Someone wants it. They've been chasing me since I left home." Thatcher's mind races. The satchel in Kandahar. What was in it? Hollis didn't die that night. He disappeared, left a daughter, a secret. Now Marlowe's here, pregnant, scared, and calling his name. Bishop whines softly, sensing her fear. The past isn't dead, it's breathing right in front of him, and it's running out of time. Thatcher sits in the airport clinic, Hollis's letter still in his hand. Marlowe lies on the bed, pale and quiet, her breathing steady now. Bishop sits close, his soft whines filling the room. Thatcher's mind churns. Her collapse wasn't normal, not just tiredness or sickness. Something's off. He thinks about the dog tag in her hand, Hollis Rare's name scratched into it. Hollis, a soldier he thought was dead. Then there's Bishop. The dog's barking wasn't random. He froze, growled, barked like he was screaming a warning. Bishop never acts that way, not with pregnant women, not with anyone safe. And Marlowe's pregnancy, her big belly, her calm face, it's tied to this somehow. She's not just a woman in trouble. She's something more, something Hollis left behind. A key to a secret. Thatcher stands pacing the small room. Hollis wrote, "Protect her." Marlowe said people are chasing her after letters she found. The pieces click together, slow but sure. Her collapse, the tag, Bishop's reaction, it's all connected. She's not just a target for someone, she's carrying something they want. Maybe it's in her head, her past, even her unborn baby. His gut twists. He's missing something big and it's right in front of him. He heads to the security office, Bishop trotting beside him. "I need the clinic footage," he tells the tech, a young guy with quick fingers. The screen flickers, showing the hallway outside Marlowe's room. Thatcher watches, jaw tight. There's Marlowe on the bed, him standing nearby reading the letter. He remembers that moment, lost in Hollis's words, "Protect her." Then two paramedics walk in. They're calm, pushing a stretcher, wearing red jackets. Normal except they're not. The tech zooms in. No badges, no ID tags. One nods at the nurse, who doesn't blink. They roll Marlowe out, smooth and fast, gone in seconds. The timestamp says 10:47, just minutes ago while Thatcher was distracted. His stomach drops. Fake paramedics. They took her right under his nose. He missed it, too caught up in the letter, the past, Hollis's ghost. Bishop whines, nudging his leg like he's saying, "I told you." Thatcher slams his fist on the desk. The signs were there, Bishop's barking, her collapse, the tag. He should have stayed sharp, watched closer. Now she's gone and it's his fault. Too late to stop them. The tech looks up, nervous. "Call it in?" he asks. Thatcher shakes his head. "Not yet." This isn't just a kidnapping. It's bigger, Hollis's secret, Marlowe's key. He grabs Bishop's leash. We're finding her. Thatcher doesn't waste time. He calls Cassandra Voss, an old friend who knows how to fight and find people. Marlowe's gone, fake paramedics took her, he says, voice hard. Cassandra meets him at Red Hollow Airport, her black truck ready. They check security footage and trace the abductors to a warehouse just outside town, a dark, rusty building near the woods. Bishop jumps in the back, nose twitching like he can smell Marlowe already. He'll lead us, Thatcher says, trusting the dog's sharp senses. They drive fast, the night cold and quiet around them. At the warehouse, Bishop growls low, guiding them to a side door. Inside, it's dark, full of crates and shadows. They hear voices, angry, sharp. Thatcher peeks around a corner and sees Marlowe, hands cuffed to a chair, her pregnant belly clear. Two men in black stand over her, asking about a code. I don't know it, she snaps, scared but firm. Suddenly, shots ring out. Rion agents, a secret group, attack. Thatcher and Cassandra fight back, bullets flying. Bishop leaps, knocking one man down. They free Marlowe, her wrists red from the cuffs. As they catch their breath, Marlowe's eyes go wide. I see it, she whispers. Memories hit her hard, white lab walls, her mom Lena's face, a program called Helix. She wasn't just born, she was made, built with hidden instincts. Bishop nudges her, whining soft. He's part of it, she says. He's tuned to me. Thatcher grabs a wounded Rion agent by the collar. What's Helix? He demands. The man coughs, smirking. She's the start. Her kid's the next step, Dr. Julian Crest's plan. Thatcher's blood runs cold. Marlowe's baby isn't just a baby, it's Helix's future. Alarms blare, red lights flashing. Self-destruct in 2 minutes, a voice booms. The warehouse shakes, Rion's covering their tracks. Move! Cassandra yells. They run, Bishop leading the way through twisting halls. Marlowe stumbles, but Thatcher pulls her up. I feel them, she gasps. Others like me, they're waking up. The walls rumble, dust falling. They burst outside as the building explodes behind them, fire lighting the sky. Too late, Rion's triggered something bigger. Marlowe's awakening isn't just hers, it's a signal to more out there. In the truck, Marlowe breathes hard, hands on her belly. Bishop curls beside her, calm now. Crest made me, she says, voice shaky. And they're not done. Thatcher grips the wheel, jaw tight. They saved her, but the fight's just starting. Rion's protocol is live, and Marlowe's the key they can't let go. The safe house sits quiet in the woods near Red Hollow, a small cabin hidden by tall trees. Inside, Marlowe Ashford sits on a worn couch, her pregnant belly resting under a blanket. In one hand she holds Hollis's dog Tag, cold and scratched, his name staring back at her. In the other she grips a pocket watch, old brass ticking steady. It came from a box her mom Lena hid years ago, a secret stash of truth. The ticking fills the room, like a heartbeat that won't stop. Thatcher Mallowan stands by the window watching the dark. Bishop, his Belgian Malinois, lies at Marlowe's feet, ears up, eyes sharp. Marlowe closes her eyes, feeling something strange. It's not just the baby kicking, it's more. A buzz in her head, like voices calling from far away. They're waking up, she says soft, almost to herself. Others like me. Kane, and more. Thatcher turns, frowning. Who's Kane? She opens her eyes, steady now. Another one Helix made. I feel him out there, scared, running. There's others too, I don't know their names but they're real. The watch ticks louder in her hand like it's counting down to something. Thatcher steps closer, his face hard but kind. I'll protect you, he says. Hollis asked me to. I won't let them get you or your kid. Marlowe looks at the dog Tag, then at him. No, she says, voice firm. I'm done hiding. They made me, Dr. Crest, Helix, all of them. I'm not their thing to control anymore. I'm going after Crest. I'm ending this. Thatcher blinks, surprised. She's not the scared woman from the airport now. She's choosing her fight. They sit at a rickety table, planning. Cassandra Voss, Thatcher's tough friend, maps out where Crest might be. He's the key, she says. Take him down, Helix falls. Marlowe nods, gripping the watch tight. Bishop shifts, sensing the shift in her. Then the radio on the shelf crackles, breaking the quiet. Static hisses, then a voice cuts through, cold and clear. Subject 6A02 located. Marlowe freezes. "K." Bishop growls low, fur bristling, his eyes on the door. Thatcher grabs his gun, checking it fast. They're close, he mutters. The room goes tense. Outside, the wind howls, but it's not just weather coming. Marlowe stands, the watch still ticking in her fist. They won't stop, she says. Not till they have us all. Thatcher looks at her, then Bishop. The dog's growl deepens. Security saw the truth too late. Helix is alive, hunting. The storm's here and they're in it now.